Welcome to this video on equations and removing group symbols. I hope you get a lot out of this. You're going to have a lot of fun. Make sure you take some notes, listen carefully, and we're going to learn a lot. So, removing grouping symbols. When removing grouping symbols, we always have to multiply everything that's outside by everything that's inside. So here's our little grouping symbols. So everything inside the grouping symbols by what's outside. So in example 1 we have 5 outside of 10 plus b. So obviously 5 times 10 and 5 times b. And that gives us 50 plus 5b. Now we can't do anything else. We can't collect like terms, so that's our answer. Same sort of thing in example 2. Minus 2 times 10 plus minus 2 times k. And so obviously minus 20 minus 2k, again we can't collect any more like terms, so that's our answer. Now it gets a little bit trickier. In example 3 we actually have grouping symbols on both sides of our equal sign there. Now what we have to do obviously is actually remove the grouping symbols from the first side and then the second side. So we actually have to remove them from both. And so let's do the first side. So 4 times a plus 4 times 2, that gets rid of them from that side. That gives us 4a plus 8, and then on the other side we have to get rid of them, so we go 3 times a plus 3 times 3. Okay, so once the grouping symbols have gone, now we're left with an equation where we've got about 2 steps before we work out what our answer is. So the first step, I'm going to move all of my pronumerals or terms to the left, and so the way I do that, so I've got this 3a here, I want to move it to the other side, so when I change the side, I change the sign. So in front of there, you don't see it, but there would be a plus. So by changing the side, that plus becomes a minus, and that'll actually cancel each other out, so 4a minus 3a. And so I do that again with the number. So the second step, I'm actually going to move all those numbers to the right. And again, when I change the side, I change the sign. So plus 8 becomes minus 8, so that cancels that out. 9 minus 8 is 1. Now you might also look at this. 1a is a. You always give the term in its most simple form. So I don't actually write 1a, I write a. I have an apple, so a equals 1. Well done. Now we've only got one more example. A little bit trickier. Here we have 2 sets of grouping symbols, but this time it's actually on one side. I still have to remove both sets, so let's go. So the first set, so 4 times 6 is 24, so 24y. 4 times 2, so minus 2, is 8. So remember, a positive times a negative gives me a negative. Let's do it with the next set. Minus 7 times 4, so that's negative times a positive, gives me minus 28. Here's a tricky one. Minus 7 times minus 3. Do you remember the rule? Ooh, a negative times a negative gives me a, you probably worked it out, a positive. So make sure you get it right. Okay, now we've removed the group symbols. There's a trick here that I have to remember. I have to actually collect like terms. And so I know these y's here, so they could be yo-yos. They have to be grouped together. So the numbers, obviously, they don't have any terms, they don't have those y's, so I can group those y's together, and obviously I can group the blue numbers together. Okay, so 24y minus 28y will give me minus 4y, and again, minus 8 plus 21. Now you could rotate those numbers, so 21 minus 8 is plus 13. So just be careful with that. We've got to collect like terms. Now we're ready to start moving our numbers to the other side of the equation. So again, by changing the side, I change the sign, so the plus 13 becomes minus, and so minus 3 minus 13, you've probably already worked it out, is minus 16. So here, and you've probably already seen, the last step is to remove this number that's the closest to the term, and I do that by actually dividing by negative 4, not 4, negative 4, so it's the whole number there. Okay, so a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive, and a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive as well. So y equals 4. Well done. That was exciting. I hope you learnt a lot. Well done, and make sure you've got your notes.